Remaining relentlessly civil since 1922, the Eastern Progress, Eastern Kentucky University student publication, has seen it all. Training over a century of journalists, the publication has remained dedicated to reporting truth and accuracy for students and the surrounding Richmond community. However, for almost as long as the publication has existed, it has simultaneously continued to fight for the First Amendment and, since their passage, against blatant violations of Kentucky's open meetings and open records laws. In 2018, the Eastern Progress continued their fight for governmental openness, taking a complaint against EKU's Board of Regents all the way to Kentucky's then Attorney General Andy Beshear. It's 2016, and EKU, like all of Kentucky's state colleges and universities, is facing severe budget cuts. Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin has proposed a 4.5% educational budget cut in his state address. In February, then EKU President Michael Benson addressed campus with a letter, writing that EKU will lose $3.1 million and urged university officials to be, quote, very, very careful with their remaining fiscal year budgets. Major cuts by the Board of Regents began in December and included the suspension of academic programs with approximately 160 students enrolled in total. At the time, EKU faced an over $11 million budget shortfall for the coming academic year. In an article published by EKU on December 5th, Board Chair Craig Turner is quoted as saying that changes to state funding, quote, brought new urgency to the need for program review. 2017 was relatively quiet, but in November of that year, more steps were taken by EKU to address the shortfall, and President Michael Benson gathered the EKU Budget Advisory Committee to make recommendations to the President's Council to later be taken to the board. These recommendations were completed on March 8, 2018. On March 19th, the board met for a special call meeting that included a scheduled executive session regarding, quote, litigation and/or discipline or dismissal of an individual employee. That executive session lasted 5 hours.
I'm Jennifer Perkins. My byline was always Jennifer K. Perkins.
Jennifer K. Perkins was the news editor for the Eastern Progress at the time. Her second semester on staff, she wasn't initially slated to cover the meeting, but as the hours ticked on, she became concerned.
We were told, hey, we're going to go into closed session to discuss individual employee, and we had all been kind of like ushered out into the hallway, and so I was sitting there and the clock just kept ticking.
As the board returned and exited their closed session, another issue arose with the addition of a single letter.
Hey, when you went in, you said you were going in to discuss an individual employee, and when you came out, it's now employees. That one letter, the S, is what kind of, this isn't the same.
According to Kentucky's open meetings laws, certain stipulations allow for a public body to enter executive session. These do not, however, include the discussion of multiple employees or personnel members, as Turner had said upon returning to the general session. Perkins took her notes and information to Eastern Progress Advisor Tricia Kelley and other members of EKU's Department of Communication.
Aside from that, at the same time, we were going through kind of a budget crisis at the university. And we knew we had to cut programs, cut positions, and we just didn't know what that was going to look like yet. So Kaylin thought that we perhaps had an open meetings violation on our hands.
As Perkins prepared to move forward with the complaint, Benson announced on March 22nd that EKU was expecting a $25 million shortfall. On April 3rd, Perkins officially sent a complaint to Board Chair Craig Turner. In that complaint, she writes that during the March 19th meeting, the Board of Regents was in violation of Kentucky's open meetings law by discussing multiple employees as well as admitting non-board members. Less than a month later, on May 3rd, the Office of the Attorney General ruled in favor of the Eastern Progress, writing the board did not discuss pending litigation within the session and thus could not be argued for the session's reasoning. Further, the Attorney General's opinion kept in line with those in the past, ruling that the public had the right to attend the discussion. For Kelley, the work done by Perkins, as well as other student journalists, is something that is invaluable. Journalism, she said, is crucial to democracy, and journalists remain fighting for information. Even today, that is no different.
You know, it's a public good, what journalists do. You know, that's called the fourth estate for a reason. You're there to make sure that people have the information they need to make informed decisions about their lives. And student journalists do that for their fellow students.